Hi everyone! Before adding Kafka to our system, in this lecture, I want to do a final change to the current project. As I mentioned previously, I will always try to create reusable modules to be able to define a module once and use it from other modules and services. Also, as mentioned in the next section, you will apply externalized configuration pattern and hold our configuration data outside of the services. When a service gets a data from config server, the configuration data will be held on configuration data classes. And it will also make a lot of sense to create a configuration data module and hold all configuration related classes in that module. This configuration data module can then be used as a dependency on the microservices. This way, you will manage the configuration-related classes better, keeping them in a single module instead of holding them in each microservice separately. So let's create a new module called app_config_data and add required dependencies for this module. First, we need Spring Boot dependency to be able to use configuration and configuration properties annotations on the data classes. And then we also need Lombok dependency to use the data annotation and obtain getter-setter as well as hashcode and equals methods. As you can see, when we add a new module, it appears in the modules section in the main POM.xml file. Let's now create a new package, com microservices demo config, in the app_config_data module, and copy the Twitter2Kafka service config data class from Twitter2Kafka service to the newly created module. We can then delete the config data class in the Twitter2Kafka service module. So in the coming microservices, I will define the config classes in this app_config_data module instead of creating them in the microservices itself. And to be able to use these classes in the microservices, I will add a dependency to the app_config_data module in the microservices. Now let's remove the Lombok dependency from Twitter2Kafka service and instead add a dependency to the new config module. To be able to use this dependency, we first need to add this to the main POM.xml file with version 001 snapshot, which is the current version of our project. At this point, please update Twitter2Kafka service application class and add component scan annotation with base packages com microservices demo. This is required to allow finding the Spring beans in other modules. When a Spring Boot application starts, by default, it scans the packages starting from the package directory that the Spring Boot application main class resides. In Twitter2Kafka service, this is com microservices demo Twitter2Kafka service. When we work with multiple modules, there will be some Spring beans that resides in different packages. For example, the Twitter2Kafka service config data class is in com microservices demo config package, which doesn't fit to the default scan definition. In this case, we can use component scan annotation with base packages and mention com microservices demo as the base package. Since we will use com microservices demo as the starting package for all packages in all modules, Spring will scan and find all the beans that resides in all modules. As you will see in the coming lectures, every module will have a package structure that starts with com microservices demo. Only the remaining parts will be different. Previously, we were using a different package for Twitter2Kafka service config data. But now it is in app_config_data module and has a different package name. So when we build the code, it will give compilation error for import statements. So let's build the application to see the import errors now. And then update the references to correctly import the config class from the new module appconfig data instead of Twitter to Kafka service. If IntelliJ cannot recognize the new module immediately, just refresh the Maven using the refresh button on the Maven tab. Let's do the same change for all classes that uses application config data. And then build the application again to be sure it compiles successfully. And finally, let's run the application to be sure everything still works. Great, we still see the tweets on the console. Alright, I will see you in the next section.